Hello, everybody. I'm Teri Easton, founder of Atlanta Acne Specialists, and we have started a interview series with our clients, and I'm really happy to have Kayla Rose on as our first interview, actually. And I just wanted to welcome you. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today and give us your experience on what it's been like working with us. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Yes, this program has saved my skin and my confidence.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. It makes me so happy. So tell us a little bit about you, how you found us, how you got started with us, and all that fun stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm local in the Atlanta area as well, and I never really had skin problems going up through middle and high school, those hormonal changes that most teenagers get. Around, I would say, 27 to 28, I really started noticing a peak in my hormonal breakouts, especially during my period. Just got worse and worse over time to where it was leaving scars on my jawline, and I was specifically getting marks on my cheeks more so that were deep, and it was beyond just your typical whitehead. It was a deep cystic that was visible. So around October 2019, my first step was to see a dermatologist because I didn't know too much about skincare. At that point, it was just over-the-counter products I was using. Nothing, I didn't have a specific routine in place. And with the dermatology, they prescribed a medication for me to put on my face as well as just a general cleanser to use. And I did that for about 2 months from October to December. And if anything, it just got worse. I wasn't sure what was going on. I also reached out to my OBGYN to possibly start birth. Done some research online.
Sorry, I turned off notifications and apparently that did not work. Sorry.
No, it's fine. So I just kept doing more research and I came across your company, and I was looking through your Facebook and I'd seen a few other women who had posted positive reviews. And what struck out to me as far as your program was the wide variety of different women that you had serviced. And that was a concern to me too, being a woman of color. I wanted to make sure that whatever program did not leave too much hyperpigmentation. I wanted to know that without surgery, or lasers, that I was able to clear what was going on with my face. So seeing a wide range of different women who had successful stories from you, I was like, hey, let's take the leap and see, because I didn't see any other option at that point. It was just progressively getting worse, and it was the best decision I did. Now you do have to stick with it. If you skip a couple of nights, or once your breakouts start getting down, you may get too comfortable and be like, oh, I may be okay if I skip this one day. It is very important we stay on track. Once I grasped that and I stuck with it, I began January 2020. And I would say closer to June, I was completely breakout free at that point.
Awesome.
I still get the occasional, I would say every 2 to 3 months, where I'm something, but I'm sure that's more so, I would say, due to the hormonal balance and stressors from work. You can tell it specifically, it's not on my jawline anymore. It's not near my forehead. It's a lot smaller too.
Yeah.
Anything, I do get something, again, it's sporadic, but it's extremely small. It goes away in less than a week. It is night and day.
So awesome. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that happens with our clients is they get really comfortable. It's like, oh, my skin's doing so great. I don't need to be as diligent, or maybe I don't need to do this anymore. I'm cured. And then they're like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, well, and they're like, oh, I may have, skipped a night here or indulged in a little, there or whatever. So yeah, all of those things really are important. And it's like, I try to, explain it to people so that it's like, okay, this is a new way of taking care of your skin going forward, and not just, do this when you feel like it or cherry pick certain products. That it is a whole system that done twice daily really makes a huge change in the skin. And so you work full time, and then you're also a personal trainer. Is that right?
Yes,
Do you do lifting and heavy workouts?
I do extreme heavy workouts, not only for myself, but for my clients too. And what really helped me was you have a booklet that I still reference to today as far as foods that are triggers, birth controls that can be certain triggers that was and still is immensely helpful. And I actually reference it too for some of my clients as well. If they have questions,
Sure.
protein powders that they may use or their diets. It was extremely helpful. And now I can point it out, hey, if we have too much peanuts or if we're using A, B, and C, this could trigger possible facial and, back knee too.
Yeah.
So it's just been all around. All the information and services you've provided have been a big help.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that it's like almost a ripple effect, that it's not just helping you, but it's helping your clients also.
Yeah.
Hey, awesome. I'd love to hear that. What would you say is the biggest challenge you had with our program?
The biggest challenge, once I got in the hang, it's more so just the wait period. I think a lot of times, especially when we suffer from a bad skin issue, not only is it a confidence issue for us as women, but once we start a new program, we're anxious to see the results. So it could be 2 weeks and we're sitting there in the mirror like, okay.
Yes, a lot of clients are like, okay, I've been doing this for 18 days, not seeing any different.
Yeah.
Or even sometimes 2 months in, because I know one of the girls that I have an interview with later today, she emailed or sent in a check-in form like 6 weeks in and 2 months in, and she's like, okay, do I just have persistent acne? What's going on? I'm like, just be patient. It's so hard. If I could prescribe any kind of medication, it would be a patient's pill. Because to your point, if you've been dealing with this for months or even years, I've had clients dealing with it for decades.
Mm-hmm.
3 to 6 more months is so long to wait and do the same thing and be
Mm-hmm.
consistent to not see any results, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
such small incremental changes. Did you take pictures of yourself every 2 weeks going through that first 12-week program, or do you recall?
Especially beginning, yes, the first 3 or 4 months, I would say it was even more than 2 weeks. I had every white and ankle so I could do the before and after. And at first, it is a time. You have to give the program time. But when I look back now, it's phenomenal. The changes, and there's no scarring, there's no pits in my face. Some people have. So I'm very thankful, and I recommend it to many of my friends as well.
Awesome. Do you remember, like, was there anything that helped you overcome just being patient, or was it just more of like, okay, she said this works, or I can't remember that we had any specific interaction through check-ins, but maybe that was it, just, check-ins that I was like, okay, just, hang on.
Um,
You froze for a second. There you are.
it was fake.
Say that again.
I think the connection faded a little bit.
It did. It did. So I was just asking, you said that your biggest challenge was being patient during that time. What helped you overcome that? Was it, just filling out the check-ins and getting support from us?
I took support from like close friends and family because they were seeing the changes.
Oh, awesome.
They would tell me, okay, it's better, just keep on. I think COVID played a good part in that patience too, because I still am working virtually as well.
Yep.
So more time to just sit at home and focus on the task at hand. And that included my diet too, making sure I was getting enough water. I really took hold of your booklet as far as removing certain foods from my diet and my birth control, being adamant on changing my pillowcases,
Yep.
face washing towels. So now I'm at a point where I can look at my diet prior and play with possibly bringing new things back in. So I'm, can further determine what was causing.
Sure. And little by little, I've had people that, just they're like, oh, well, you said I could add things back in, but they added everything at once versus,
Correct.
okay, let's just try 2 servings of dairy this week and see what happens. And just
Yeah.
more slowly. So I think COVID plays a big role in a couple of different ways. Either one, you're at home and, hopefully most of our clients are back to work, but if you're not, you're like completely obsessed with your skin and it can be detrimental, or you're at home, you have extra time. You can really okay, I'm going to spend 3 to 5 minutes to do my routine in the morning because I have a little bit more flexibility than I used to when I had to be in
Right.
office every day. And that's, I think, something really important to tell our clients too, or even potential clients, is you've only been in for one treatment. You came in last summer, I think it was June.
Yes.
So you started right before shutdown, just came in the one time, and then you sent me your own before and after picture, which I was floored and super excited about. And I'd like to share that if that's okay.
Yeah. Of course.
I put it together. Let me do screen share. I don't know what my computer's on. I think that's just my email. Share. And oops. So this is your, move this up, before and after. So I don't know the dates. I don't know if this was like during that November, December time.
Yes, the first one on top is closer to October 2019, and the bottom was Thanksgiving 2020.
Okay, awesome. So it does go to show that it takes time.
Yes.
You weren't perfectly clear, but you looked pretty darn good when you came in June. I think we just had a couple of little things to extract. So, like you said, no scars. There's probably this little bit of redness was from a breakout that was still healing, that had come through. But I mean, your skin looks gorgeous now and then. So you've done such an awesome job. But I like to show clients, especially if we have a good before and after picture of what's possible with our program, and just being consistent is really what it comes down to. Let's see. Were there any aha moments or revelations once you went through the program?
I realized that seafood, well, shellfish played a big part in my breakouts. I loved going out to brunches and doing juicy crab with friends and shrimp and grits. And I realized, I was like, oh, wow. Like each time I eat this within like a 14 window period, I'm getting a big acne that's coming up again. And of course, with the program, it wasn't as bad as it was prior, but I just noticed that trend.
I think it really, like, once you are clearer, it's easier to see that happen. And it's really, that's something that we tell clients too, is like, pay attention to what you're eating, keep a food diary. I like people to keep, everything that they eat, drink, or, supplements. And it's a lot of work to do that, but being, paying attention to what's going on and being aware, I think is really huge. And so that's really cool that you were able to put that together.
Another thing is prior, I used a lot of makeup brushes. And even though I would wash my brushes on maybe a weekly basis, now if I do, I don't even need to wear makeup anymore because I have nothing I'm trying to conceal anymore. But if I switch to disposable sponges.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it eliminated the possible bacteria. Because again, it wouldn't cause a big cystic breakout, but you could see the little whiteheads come after a day, even if you're diligent in cleaning the makeup off. So I was like, it's probably because of these brushes. Even though I'm cleaning them, I'm sure I'm not getting everything. So switch just disposable sponges that I can get at Walmart have
fabulous.
been a great save too.
That's awesome to hear. All right, last question. What's your favorite product we offer?
My favorite is the Mandelic Serum.
That's my favorite too.
It is, because that is really what helps with the hyperpigmentation, and it's something that you as the consumer can definitely see once, because I believe it's after the 12-week period we switched to a higher percentage. And once I got to that, I was like, oh wow, it's really starting to come. And you see a difference if you skip a day as well, because your skin's not exfoliating those dead skin cells as it would if you were on track with your regular program.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad to hear all of that. And you're like star client. You get a gold star today. Is there anything else you'd like to tell or share?
The program is completely worth it. One thing I noticed is with some friends, I would show them and they would be like, oh, well, why don't you try this from Sephora? Or, oh, well, this person has this product and this. But if you really look at the other products and compare it to yours, it has essentially the same ingredients. And that's what is making our faces clear, is that formula behind it. So the way that you have it set up, I don't even see a need to, there is no need to add additional products or wonder about other things, because what you provide is everything. And I've even seen you have products for retinol and age. If I ever wanted to get down that path as well, there's several platforms that you offer.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, it's interesting because we do have a lot of the same active ingredients that you'll find in other lines, but the most important part is the inactive ingredients that have potential pore cloggers, which most people aren't aware of. And so it might be a very similar formula to something else, but they have other ingredients that will be undoing anything that those active ingredients are doing. So, so yeah, that's a thing that people don't really, aren't very familiar with. So that's a really great thing to share. So I have another question for you, but it's more of a shout out. If you are looking for clients, can they find you either in your day job or your
Yes, they can definitely find me on my social media. My Instagram is MSKAYROSE. So it's Miss K Rose. And like you mentioned earlier, I do personal training, but you'll definitely see I have plenty of selfies where you can, and I don't use filters, and I get compliments all the time. And I always tell them it's due to your system. And it really has changed my texture, how the light hits my face, everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time today, and reach out if you need anything. We appreciate you. Have a great day.